This event didn't happen to me, but rather to my mother. This happened while I was away at summer camp. I'm 21 now, so I'm presuming I must have been at least 12 or 13. Back before I came to think that camp was stupid and didn't want anything to do with it. The details may be a bit vague, but it's certainly one of those things that's singed into your brain as a young child, especially when your mother tells you about it in the parking lot of a diner. I distinctly remember asking her why she couldn't just tell me in the diner, as we often share a conversation over lunch. She gave me this look and told me that it wasn't a story to be overheard within a restaurant. And let me tell you, that gave me chills. A little bit of background on my mother. She's always had sleep problems, and if my timeline is correct, this was before she was diagnosed with sleep apnea and restless leg syndrome. She had woken up at midnight to 1 o'clock in the morning, irritated, but she usually took this opportunity to work on art projects or do cleaning that didn't require a lot of crashing around. Not that it mattered, as at the time, my father was in the military and overseas. About an hour after she had woken up, she heard a knock on the door. Now, my mum isn't a woman who's easily intimidated, but even the bravest person would get nervous when someone shows up at your door at some obscene hour of the morning. She got up and went over to the door. Our porch light obviously off, so she couldn't see who was there. There's a tiny, rectangular window on our main door, so just past the screen on our storm door, she could see a figure standing in the shadows. After about a minute, she heard a tiny voice through the door say, "Help me." It was then that my mum flicked on the light and discovered that the figure was a young woman, and this woman was covered in blood. Now that I'm older, I find myself wondering why my mother opened the door in the first place, but I'm supposing that she told her this woman wasn't a threat. Upon further inspection, now that she was no longer looking through what could only be described as the porthole on our door, my mum discovered this woman had bite marks all over the skin that was visible. My mum told her to wait on the porch, and she ran back into the house and grabbed the phone, quickly dialing 911. For record, we lived right down the street from our local police station, before returning to this woman. The details here are a bit vague, but when my mother asked her about what happened, the woman told her that she had a friend and got intoxicated and had begun to fight. Things got out of hand, and the bloody woman had wandered out, while the other was currently running around our borough streets naked. It was about this juncture that the woman began to act hysteric, saying something about needing to get back to her dog and her house, and she started to wander around. As the police hadn't arrived yet, my mother didn't want her wandering off. Getting off the serious note, it was now that my mother embraced her very dominant personality and barked at this woman, and in my mother's exact words, that the woman sit, and the woman obeyed. Not too long later, the police arrived and asked the woman about what had happened, so she had to repeat herself. An ambulance took the woman away, but her porch was now covered in gore. My mum had to get into the house via the back door. Luckily, the crime scene guy showed up the next day to clean up the mess. My mum joked that her porch had never looked cleaner. Now, I'd always been a weird child, so I remember telling her, probably in jest at the time, that I wish I'd been there to see it. She solemnly shook her head and said she was glad I wasn't. Now that I'm older, quite frankly, I'm really glad I wasn't. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. You can also leave a comment below. All feedback, good or otherwise, is always appreciated. If you have any creepy stories of your own, or of any topics that you would like me to cover, feel free to send them in via any of my social media. You can find all links to my social media in the description below. Until next time guys, make sure you lock your doors, stay safe, and I'll see you next video.